Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Rambles. Okay, that's not well, so, last time, well, that was important, but we were focusing on like a design on the weapons. This time, we're focusing on something a little more, well, personal. Even the weapon choice in this game is also very important. An unrelated topic is Pokemon. Okay, fine, let's reveal a big deal. It's silly. Published by Nintendo, so okay, fine, same kind of relation. But I want to talk about my different favorite types, mostly the actually. But the other one is that I kind of have weird reasons why I like them. And the half of the mark really because of design. So we'll start off with class, I think. We'll go through by I have a light next chart. So we'll start with grass. And it's Sceptile, but more specifically Mega Sceptile, but apologies. Personally, I really think that out of every grass type in the entire franchise, it is kind of my favorite, especially since its original was a mono grass, and then got the unique sort of typing of dragon grass with Mega Evolves, so it's really interesting. It was broken in Gen 3 though. Leaf Blade broken grass that we never get as a special attack, and somehow had ridiculous special attack that has the highest speed out of any starter, which, not including Blaziken with speed boost or Mega Blaziken, which is just ridiculous. Which is A, impressive, B, scary. So I don't really have too much to say about it other than that it was a fabulous grass type. Something I would not actually say. Don't expect too many starters in this list, by the way. I only have 2 in this list. Yeah, I got 2 in this list. So, really, starters are something that I personally don't usually put on my favorite list, simply because I have kind of a bias towards them. I will naturally pick a grass starter or a fire starter. So, they usually win the points. Kind of hard to pick only grass starters on favorite type. Next we'll go with fire, which is Houndoom. And you're gonna go, but it's a dirt type. It's also a fire type. A fire type. I don't like that. Fire types. The only other fire type that I probably could have put here would have been probably Blaziken or Typhlosion. I don't know, one of those two. And I kind of didn't want to put another starter in the types, so. Houndoom gets put in this slot, mostly because I actually prefer another different dark type. So favorite fire type. It is interesting. It's probably my favorite weird typing out of all of them, being dark fire, which really doesn't do anything for it. It gives it really all it does is basically eliminate the one weakness that dark that seriously had, which was bug. Well, oh wait, that didn't do too much. All it really did was mean it, oh no, its special attack is ridiculous. That's basically all that happened. And amusingly enough, it is actually a really high base stat total Pokemon as well, so it is kind of viable. No, not really. In a base run, though, it usually won't fail you by any means, and will usually just be a red herring to a lot of Mons. And since it's of its high special attack, in Platinum, you can actually give it Fire Blast almost immediately and just have it wreck everything. I do love it in Platinum. It's probably, well, it's one of the only handful of fire types you can get, and since they don't start with a fire type, it's either that or basically Ponyta, and I'd much rather have it. Water type next. Now this might come with a thing, because I do talk about water types a lot, but I don't talk about this one that much. It's Kingdra. I've actually only used Kingdra once. Was because I didn't have anyone to trade with, so I could actually never really get a Kingdra. Kingdra is cool. It's probably my favorite. It's just my favorite water type, just because of how it looks. It's probably the only thing on this list on here because of how it looks. Its dual typing is actually less of a hindrance than people might think, especially since it's a dragon. It kind of gets rid of the one weakness that dragon had, which was ice. it gives it when it also removes the weakness of electric for the water typing, which makes it fairly viable. Uh, it has some pretty cool abilities. It has a pretty decent move pool. The only real problem I have with it is that you can only get it by trading, and it kind of hurts whenever like you have to trade something to evolve it, and then I just don't get it. Gengar didn't make it this list because of that actual reason. Normal is the most weird typing because it's the only mod on this list that's not fully evolved, and it's Eevee. Why? Because Eevee's cute. Moving on. No, I'm not going to give another explanation. Eevee is cute. Deal with it. Electric types are up next, and it's Electros. Electros is, I like to personally call it my double battle red herring. I love to use this thing in double battles because it's like the biggest red herring you can give someone because it has no weakness. Yeah, sure, it's not very strong and it's very slow, but it's so annoying. People don't know what to do against it. It's amazing for double battles. It's not so good in single battles because it's fairly easy. It's such a generic electric type. But in doubles, it could just be a nuisance, especially since it's a mix attacker. It can do whatever you want it to. I think the only real way that it really kind of bugs it down is trying to actually get one. 10MO is similar to Beldum. It's a pain to bloody evolve. Attack with Spark and one other move, and that's it. That's all it knows. It is completely electric. Is a little bit better. The only major problem I have with Electros is that it kind of falls apart in one place, and it's called it doesn't learn any moves on the roll. You have to either go to TS, or go just simply keep it electric for a little bit. And electric sucks. It just blatantly sucks. Terrible base stat total. It is not fun. Let's move on to Psychic type. Psychic, it's Espeon, which, not surprising, I like to use it. In fact, it was really good for Psychic type that I couldn't say I really enjoy. For fulfilling the Psychic type role, there's another Psychic type on this list, but it didn't start two actually. But they don't fit the role I usually have a Psychic type to fill. Psychic type's often fill super roles on my team. And Espeon's the only real Psychic type on this list that does these special things. That, with every minute, Dream Gold, I swept the entire league for just an Espeon. And it was amazing. That Espeon was thick at the end of the thing. Same level of 3-4, usually go almost as level 48. I think by the end of Elite 4 and going on champion, it was like 52 or 53. It was stupidly powerful in comparison to the rest of 40, 50. Like, just sweep everything, Espeon. I know you can do that. Not to help with the fact that I think it has the best features, one of the better features for it, which is increased special attack and lowered attack. So it just destroyed everything. Now we're going to go on to another Psychic type with Fighting, and it's Gallade. And I'm going to look this up. I hate Gallade's design. It sucks. Even Mega Gallade. Personally, it irritates me. But its typing is bloody amazing than Gardevoir in Gen 5 and below, Psychic Fighting is stupidly broken. Not to mention, it itself is an excellent physical sweeper, and can be okay at doing special attacks, which is pretty good substitution. Probably have okay special attacks. So it's the only reason why it's on this list is because I hate every other fighting type. Pretty much. So really the only reason why it's there. I don't really use fighting types. I love fighting type moves. And some fighting types are cool, but also there's no legendaries on this. Maybe I'll make another one of like what's all my favorite legendaries from each gen. That may also go up as well at the same time as this. Yeah, that's what'll happen. So there'll be another video. This is actually not on script, by the way. Everything else is on script, but this part here is not a script. I will have another video going up at the same time. I'll make sure to reference this one. That will be all my favorite legendaries from each generation, and I'll try and go through which one's my favorite. Okay, that rant over. We'll go to Rock. Rock is a weird type. It's a type that is hard, rocks, and really sucks. I intended for that to rhyme. Thank you very much. Really, there's only one good rock type I could think of, and that's Aggron. All of the rock types just kind of suck. Even though there's some really cool ones like Rampardos, Aerodactyl, Aurorus, many others. There's some cool, but like just going, you're really not that useful. Even Tyrantum is not that useful. It's like all these rock types. Oh, Aggron. Aggron's useful. Even though I see it as a steel type, I have something else fill in the steel slot. So it will fit in the rock type listing because it's a rock type. And really else, it's a great tank. Enough said. Ground, we have originally my favorite Pokemon, but it's kind of like, I think it's like number 6 now on my top tier list. And that's Torterra. I originally just liked it simply because it was one of the first starters I went, that's a cool starter. I love it. It's just different. Yeah, sure, the typing of Grass Ground does it no favors at all. But it is very physically inclined and is probably the first serious grass type starter to take a physical approach rather than taking a non-physical approach. The next one to do it is Chestnut, and the Decidueye did it after that. Every other one was a special attacker. Hell, technically you could argue Superior is a special attacker because its physical and special attacks are the same. It just usually ends up with a higher attack, I believe. It's just bulky. It was very interesting. I have an interesting relationship with it. Even if it's technically the second worst starter in Sinnoh, technically from a base standpoint relationship, Infernape is better, even though I personally like it less. It is a better starter. Torterra will always have the special place in my heart for being the first starter I went, hell yes! Then also I have a naming convention named around it, which is lovely. Flying type, it's a mon that I've actually started using only recently, and this is Togekiss. Togekiss is different for me. I didn't get around to using it until more recently. It's another mon that I've only started using recently, and it was like, this is really cool. Even though it's kind of slow for a flying type, which is kind of weird, even though I have another 2 flying types on this list. I like dual types, okay? They're cool. Now, it's kind of, yeah, as a Pokemon, it's only really okay, but with Serene Grace, I have some bad memories of it with Cynthia and Platinum. It's so annoying. Teach it Air Slash, make it faster than what you're attacking, and watch as your opponent cries in agony as the flinches happen. Or you could be like mine and have Hustle, which isn't bad of an ability by any means. It's just not quite as good. Bug. Oh my lord, I wish I didn't have to talk about the bug type. I really think the bug type sucks. But there's one benefit. We get another grass type on the list. Livani is my favorite bug type. Straight up, it's just my favorite because it's the only bug type I could tolerate more. Nah, there's plenty of bug types that are really cool. Just, it's the only one that I actively use more often. The only other one is Scolipede, and they're both from the fifth generation. I have to pick one. So what do I pick? I pick the one I use more often, Livani. Livani fills a weird role because it's a physical attacker that basically serves as both grass and bug murdering system 101. Hell, I had issues in, I think it was Black and White 2, and I was fighting the fighting type Elite Four, and I just couldn't really beat him with any of my other mons. But for some reason, Livani just kind of swept him, even though we both had type disadvantages. Bug was not very effective against fighting. Fighting wasn't very effective against Bug. It was just really interesting. It's also kind of my go-to grass type in Black and White if I start with Samurai, because it fills the role that kind of Superior kind of will, but not really. That it also once again gives me both coverage, so I don't have to necessarily get a psychic type, because it can deal with both dark. I don't need a dark type, excuse me, because it kind of eats away at those psychic and dark types, so I can do the other one. Poison, lovely. You get another flying type. Crobat. I really don't have too much to say on this because really, it's similar to Rock. It's just I don't really like any of the ones. They're not bad by any means. A lot of these mons, like a lot of these sections, have really great mons in them. I just don't like them that much. Especially poison. I've never really got into a lot of the poison types. I was going to try to like some of the poison types that showed up after a bit, but I just could never really go, that's really nice, I'll use it. No. I just stuck with the one I knew was Crobat, with the other ones just didn't. Yeah. Now Dark. Okay, I'm going to get the thing out of the way. It's A, Absol, B, yes, I'm fully aware that Absol on its own is technically terrible. It's a little bit too slow to be a sweeper. Its defenses are garbage. It has, for some reason, a weirdly high-ish special attack, but not quite high enough to make the special attack viable. And then its attack is also pretty ridiculous. The one great thing about it is Super Luck. Now, as a Mega Evolution, they fix all these issues. It's very fast. It has ridiculous attack. And Magic Bounce is stupidly broken. So I love Absol, but due to certain things, really the only reason why it's fitting the dark slot is because there really isn't a dark type I prefer. Actually, there is, but it's filling up the fire type slot right now. It's one of the other it's kind of like Gallade, where it's like, yeah, I like all the other types, just kind of prefer this one a little bit more. So it just kind of gets put there. Though in Gallade's case, a little bit more exaggerated. Ghost. Ooh, the ghosty type. I love almost every ghost type. Just simply because they're almost all of the coolest mons ever. Except for Bayonet. Bayonet sucks. This is after I beat someone using a Mega Bayonet. Lovely. Ghost. Chandelure. It is weird. It's just it's literally the embodiment of what apparently people hate in mons. It's an inanimate object, but it's a really cool looking inanimate object. I don't care what you say. It's just fire. It's a fire lantern. Well, it's a fire chandelier. It's like, hey, what do you think would be a good fire ghost type? I don't really know. Maybe like a will-o-wisp or something. How about a will-o-wisp inside a chandelier? That sounds amazing. Give me that. It's cool. Let's move on to ice. Ooh, ice. It's cold and chilly. What should I pick for the worst defensive type? How about a defensive tank? Alolan Sandslash is a lot more tanky than you might give it credit for. I use this thing in Sun and Moon because I went through most of the game with only 5 mons because I was trying to get something else and I didn't realize I couldn't get it until I basically got to the end of the game. So I needed something just quick to fill a slot. So what did I do? I found something I could catch and easily evolve. I found a Sandshrew and I evolved it. And amusingly enough, it turned out to be one of the best stars on my team, even though I only had it for about probably about 2 hours. Maybe in game time. I like this thing just simply sheer because it fills such a different role than a normal Sandslash does. It fills a tank role, even though it's an ice type. It's an ice type. It's the worst defensive type in the game. It has 2 quad weaknesses. It is technically, from a weakness standpoint, utter garbage. But because its typing is ice and steel, it's so offensively viable. It is ridiculous. It is probably one of the best fairy sweepers you can ever get. It's also a great dragon sweeper. Just make sure not to fight any dragon types that are very, very obviously going to have a flamethrower type move, simply because it would be murdered. especially since it has very, very, very crap special defense. It has crap speed, but its special defense is even more crap. But man, is its defensive attack worth it. Now, I was talking about attack. Let's go do something else. Steel. Steel. Hard. It's good for defense. How about I pick the one that pick one of the steel types that has terrible defense? What do you mean terrible defense? It's okay defense or steel type. Oh, okay. It's a Metagross. It's one of the few. Actually, I think it's the only pseudo. Yeah, it's the only pseudo on this. Yeah, Metagross is probably my favorite steel type, other than Aggron. I'm not putting gold in my rock section. Sorry. With Metagross, it's interesting. Probably one of the more interesting things I've ever seen. It's Psychic and Steel. What does Psychic and Steel do well? Not that much, actually. Its typing kind of sucks now, because especially since it can be hit with both Ghost and Dark type moves for extra damage, which kind of sucks. But it is still very defensively viable, and its Mega Evolution is very much worth it. Though it's on this list for its normal, like just normal Metagross, not Mega. Because really, I never used it when I had access to the Mega. I only seriously used it in a little bit in Diamond and Pearl. But that was not Diamond Pearl, but Platinum, a little bit in the after game. And I used it also a little bit, I actually used it for my team, in both Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, when you don't have access to the Mega Evolution until you beat the game. So I'm not really putting on this list. I'm putting on this list simply because it's a steel type that I have used consistently. And it has been consistently useful. Okay. Here's the big one. The Dragon type. What out of any dragon would I pick? Do I pick the epic dragon of Hydreigon? Do I pick the classic Dragonite? Do I pick something else like Salamence and cool dragon types? No, I picked the one I personally find the most silly but very useful, and that's Altaria. Altaria is the one of the 3 dragons that are part of the Hoenn trio of like standard dragons. It is technically, I believe, has a slightly higher base stat total than Flygon by I think 10 points. It fulfills a similar role to Flygon in the aspect it's a mixed. Instead of being a mixed attacker, it's a mixed defender. Even though I think it's more of a special defender now by a little bit. So, or it could be higher attack. I don't know. But Flygon is just like the Flygon. I use Flygon too. It's also pretty good. But Altaria is one of the few that I really find interesting. It's different. It's simple. It's straightforward. It serves its purpose. And with its Mega, it's even better. But I really think that it's one of the few dragons that just kind of doesn't get a little bit, not enough love. It's slightly underpowered. It's not as effective as its other 2 brethren. But it fulfills a purpose that the other 2 don't have, which is being kind of a wall, which is interesting for a dragon type. Yeah, sure, we got another one in Gen 6 being Goodra, but Goodra is also kind of, and a lot more people like it over Altaria. You probably ask a lot of people what's their least favorite dragon type, other than maybe whatever the bloody hell the poison dragon type from Gen 6 is called. The Altaria will probably be one of the first few picks because it's just so generic. It's a cloud with a head. I just love it. And fairy. Now, this is the only one I'm going to be talking about 2 different ones on, because one is my personal favorite, and the other one I'm going to talk about anyway because other reasons. My personal favorite fairy type is Gardevoir. Simply because it was one of the first few fairy types. It's potent, and it basically made Gallade look like a piece of shit as soon as fairy type came out. Not to mention, it got a Mega first, and its Mega basically wrecks shit, especially with the Hyper Voice. That is simply straight up. I like Gardevoir as fairy type simply because it becomes more powerful and more potent than it originally was. That's basically the only reason there. Now, the other one I want to talk about is Sylveon. I'm going to give it a special mention. One, because the shiny Sylveon is kind of my main style. Second, I would also like to quickly point out that it's technically my favorite pure fairy type. I already put three fairy types technically on this favorite type list, being Togekiss, Mega Altaria, and God of War. That's my favorite one in aspect, but I didn't want to put it on this list because I didn't want to make this entire list just about evolutions. Technically, if I wanted to, I could have probably filled about 3 slots just with evolutions. That would probably be Electric, could have been Jolteon, Fairy could have been Sylveon, and then Psychic obviously would be Espeon. That's 3 of all the types, not including normal where I shoved Eevee in there because I don't like the normal types. It's a little bit too normal for me. So that's one reason why I'm giving it an honorable mention. Sylveon follows a similar role to Umbreon, where it's semi-tank. It's very tanky, but it's not quite as tanky as Umbreon. And it more or less just serves as an example of how evolutions are really good. I'm looking at you, Glaceon. No, too fast. I think Glaceon is one of my favorite designs. That's about it for my favorite Morons of every type, which is something I don't normally have actually. Hopefully you've enjoyed this anyway, and I will see you when I in like at the same time as this is up. There should be also my favorite legendaries of each generation, so hopefully have you there too. See you next time when I ramble again. Ha! I figured it out. Bye bye.